Hi everyone, I'm glad that you're here. A nice place to be together. Today I'd like to talk about lockdown and freedom. Not in the way that everybody's been talking about it recently, including myself. A lot of people have been locked down due to coronavirus, and lots of people have been feeling like their freedom is at risk of being taken away. And I've meditated on that quite a bit, and I just want to discuss, we have so much more power than we give ourselves credit for, and we also jail ourselves more than we take credit for. So, is our freedom at risk? Yeah, it is. It kind of is. Is it at risk from external factors? Sure, in some ways that's true. But what I want to touch on today is that freedom is truly from within. And when we can take that responsibility and take that gift that we've been given, we truly can be free. In my thinking, I have realized that we are our own worst jailers. Many of us have been screaming for freedom and fighting against external forces taking away our freedom. But the truth is, the freedom is within. And we can give ourselves a level of freedom that perhaps we haven't so far in our lives. Some of you may have, and that's awesome. But we can give ourselves that freedom, and we can experience that freedom so much more often than the majority of us do. So how is it that we jail ourselves? We're screaming for freedom, yet at the same time we're not allowing ourselves to be free. And why is that? What are we a victim to? What are we captives of? And in my case, I've realized that in the past I've been a captive to worrying about what other people think. I've been jailing my soul that wants to speak out, and I've done so out of fear of judgment, people pleasing, worrying about not being accepted for who I truly am. I mean, I don't know that I've actually accepted myself in the past for who I truly am. But I've done a lot of soul searching over the years and have come to realize people pleasing is a dead-end path, and worrying about what everybody else thinks is a dead-end path as well. But I think the biggest, deepest awakening that I've had is coming to realize that I wouldn't be worried about what other people think if there wasn't an insecurity within me. A lot of my life I've spent, hoping, wishing, praying that other people would be open to my truth, would respect that, would embrace it even. And the fact of the matter is, it really doesn't matter. My truth may not be the truth of someone else. But by trying to get someone else to fully embrace me as I am, if I'm struggling with that, then that must mean that I'm struggling with it within myself. And that's a more important thing to tackle. So, how do you put your soul on lockdown? What does your soul want to say? What does your soul want to express that you aren't allowing? And just as importantly, why aren't you allowing it? So what kind of baggage are you hanging on to? What kind of story are you telling yourself that is preventing you, you're allowing to prevent from moving forth in your authenticity? That is the true prison that many of us live in. Maybe not all the time, but a lot. It's time to really write our own movie scripts, right? I mean, in a lot of ways, this life is nothing but a movie. And we're the directors. My movie is inevitably going to be different than yours. But one thing is true. You are the director of your movie, and I'm the director of mine. So the question then becomes, how do we want our movie to play out? What do we want to see? And when we can identify that, we can then take a closer look at the things that we choose to say, do, engage in, validate, embrace. How are those things leading us to the outcome that we want to see in our movie? And not just the outcome, because do we ever really reach a final outcome? You know, the joy is in the journey is an old adage. It's been around for a long time and it sounds kind of tired to people. But the truth is that is the game. It's the joy in the journey. And I know for me, and perhaps for some of you, we get so attached to what the outcome is that we don't take that joy along the journey and recognize it for what it is. We're so focused and narrow-minded on a specific outcome. And you know, I learned an important lesson today. I've been a goal setter for a very long time. Participated in some awesome coursework, some great mastermind groups, worked with accountability partners to move forward towards certain goals that I've set for myself along the road here. And I heard somebody say something today that is awesome. And I realized that I've actually done this in the past, and when I have, I've enjoyed my journey so much more. And what that message that I heard today is that instead of having a close-ended goal, for example, within 2 months I'm going to make such and such amount of money, or by the end of this year I will publish a best-selling book, or in 3 months I will have paid off $10,000 worth of debt, whatever it may be. To take that type of goal and actually adjust it a bit so that instead of looking towards a final outcome, you're committing to the journey. So for instance, instead of in 3 months I will pay off $10,000 worth of debt, maybe you're saying every week I will be looking at my money situation and making a plan to do better. Every day I will put $10 towards savings. Something like that. It's about showing up every day. So making your goal about the journey and allowing whatever the outcome is to occur. Not being so attached to it. Instead of within a year, my marriage will be much more satisfying. Maybe try something along the lines of each day for 100 days, I will show my spouse appreciation or my partner gratitude. Instead of, I will have a best-selling book by the end of the year, perhaps consider every day for 3 months, I will write 20 minutes a day. And so I really like that. And I'm going to be structuring many more of my goals in a process-oriented kind of a way, as opposed to an outcome type of way. Because I know that one way I jail myself or lock down my own soul, not just by being worried about what the external world thinks about what I'm trying to accomplish or how it is that I'm presenting myself within the world, but I also have locked down my soul by having it be married to an outcome, my life married to an outcome, what I do dependent on an outcome. Now, an outcome is a great thing to have in mind, and it could be, kind of loose in terms of what you want to achieve, and it's always in the back of our minds to some degree, I suppose. But when we can learn to let go of that, we actually kind of put that baggage down. It's kind of like if you walk around with the baggage of your past all the time, it becomes so heavy, and it starts impacting you in ways that you don't even realize. And I've been wondering if that's not the same truth about the future. So when we set goals or gear everything, the things that we do and say around a final outcome of some sort, rather than the process, I kind of feel like it becomes baggage as well. It really does. I used to have big, huge, lofty goals, and that's how I was instructed, and I was taking a lot of coursework to do that, come up with a SMART goal, make it specific, measurable, is it achievable, is it realistic, and how timely is it? But they were always set into the future, and truthfully, all we have is right now. And I'm really starting to feel much better about setting a process goal. I tell you, one thing that has happened with my long-term goals is, you set a goal and for a year from now, and it may be very attainable while you set it. It might require hard work, most do, but it might be very attainable. But perhaps within that year, other circumstances that are unforeseen present themselves, and at the end of that year, you don't attain that goal. It's happened to me, and when it does, that date in my goal comes up, and I haven't achieved what I set, then I start to tell myself things about who I am and what I can and can't do, and see, you didn't achieve that, so it wasn't realistic, or you don't have the skills to make that happen, you never did enough to make it happen. When in fact, many times that was busting my butt to make them happen. And so there's a negativity that comes with that, and it became disempowering. And so I put that goal setting aside until recently, and now my goals are going to be process oriented, meaning as long as I show up every day to write for 20 minutes, or to exercise for a half an hour, or to put certain monies aside, or to cut out certain expenses that really aren't absolutely necessary, then I'm showing up every day, and every day I have something to celebrate. And if I can show up every day and allow my soul to be free, the outcome, a positive outcome, is bound to happen. So I just wanted to talk about how we can set ourselves free. I mean, there are a lot of, shall we say, threats against our external freedom out there in the world. But a lot of that we don't have any power over. But the only person that has power over setting ourselves free, setting our souls free, setting our thinking free is us. And so we have to take that responsibility to do that. We scream for freedom, but we're often the biggest jailer of ourselves. So I'm encouraging you to think about that, maybe to try it out if you're somebody who's been a goal setter and you've struggled with that. Set yourself up for success, and set yourself up for success every day so that you have something every day to celebrate. That's mainly what I wanted to share with you. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your feelings about that. And I'll just encourage you, let go of fear. Definitely keep your goals in mind, but maybe come from a more process-oriented view as opposed to outcome-oriented. And let's see where that takes you. I'm excited for some new goals that I've set for myself, and I'd love to hear how you are moving along with your goal setting and success. Thanks so much for joining me here today, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.